So the news has come through today that Steve Cooper has been sacked as Nottingham Forest manager. He's spent 3 years at the club, and I thought I'd release this video as a way of showing my thoughts on his departure, and just kind of saying a little bit about my thoughts on what's next for the club, what's next for him, and what's next for us as fans. And now I'd usually do it in a stream or a podcast. Unfortunately, at the moment, I'm incredibly busy. So I've recorded this in the meantime whilst I've got a bit of a break. But I just wanted to say that Steve Cooper, obviously, with him about to be sacked, or maybe when you're watching this, he has unfortunately left. It's a devastating departure in terms of what we've lost in terms of a club legend, someone that got Forest promoted in the 21 to 22 season to the Premier League, kept them in the Premier League despite all the adversity that he faced. But nonetheless, results recently haven't been up to the standards that the fans desire, the ownership desire, and that is the reality of football. Football is a beautiful game, but a brutal business. And if you subscribe to one, you subscribe to the other. And that is the harsh part about this, is that Cooper has done so much for Nottingham Forest. And I don't think any Forest fan or even a football fan looking from the outside can deny what he's done for Nottingham Forest and also the city of Nottingham. Forest were underachieving, were completely bombing out of the Championship before he came in under Chris Hughton. Bottom of the Championship, he takes them up, and the city is just electrified. The club is electrified. It's, the tifos, the chants, everything about the Championship promotion season was special. Everything about the Premier League survival season in the end was special. It was tough, but it was special. And for me as a Forest fan, I will say that I'm so grateful for Steve Cooper's contribution. I'm so grateful for everything that he's done for Forest, and I'm so grateful for for the change that he's made in my footballing life as a fan. Because for 18 years of my life, I've never experienced real success at Forest, real stability at Forest, and real happiness, consistent happiness as a Forest fan, until Steve Cooper walked through those doors at the training ground and on to the pitch at the City Ground. I'd never experienced that. And I was having a chat with someone recently, and they were Cooper out, and they weren't sure why I was Cooper in, to an extent. And I said, well, I'm of a generation that didn't have Brian Clough, didn't have Frank Clark, didn't have any sort of European glory, top league glory. We didn't have that. That's why Steve Cooper's so special to younger people. And I'm not even remotely suggesting that he's comparable with Brian Clough, because he isn't. But he is someone that will go down as a club legend, is Steve Cooper. And that is the first time I can say that about any manager in recent history in my life. And that is why I regard him so highly. And that is why I was willing to give him more than just the benefit of the doubt. I'd give him support through everything, no matter what. That was why, as a fan, I did. As a professional, you have to look at both sides. And while I stand by my statement of I was willing to give him the benefit of that, and actually was hoping that we'd keep him until at least after Christmas, I also understand that the ownership have invested so much money in this club, and return on investment is so important. So important. And I've seen people saying they'd rather, get relegated with Cooper, but to an extent, I don't know how much I can back that, because the club relegated, there is no guarantee that you come back up. We saw that 23, 24, 25 years ago before we came back up. We thought we'd just go back, and we didn't. So, there's arguments all over the place about Cooper in, Cooper out, but you've just got to be grateful for what he's done. And I'm so grateful. And I'm truly gutted that he's leaving. And, my perspective on the debate has changed in some ways, and it's not changed in others. I'll always love Steve Cooper. And as I say, I did want him to have more chances. But then I also see the other side of it, where we say what's best for the club in the eyes of some, and they say, well, a new manager, a new start. And it looks like it's going to be under Nuno Espirito Santo. Now, I don't know how he will impact this club. As a fan base, you've got to get behind him, like you got behind Steve Cooper when things weren't going so well with Chris Hughton in not many people really knew what Steve Cooper would offer at Forest. He wasn't my preferred candidate when he came to the club. Chris Wilder was. So I was horrendously wrong then. And any doubt that I have now could be horrendously wrong again. So if Nuno is appointed, or whoever's appointed the next manager of Forest, I'll be behind them because I'm a Forest fan. And as a professional, or as someone that works within the media, I will always question and scrutinise tactics. I will always scrutinise team performance, because that's what you do. And as a fan, you'll do the exact same. But I'll always have respect for those that have taken on the job, and especially Steve Cooper, for taking on the job at such a difficult time, and doing what he did. So whoever's the next manager, get behind him. But also don't let the Cooper in or Cooper out debate and some of the vile comments that have been made detract from the fact that Steve Cooper has been sensational for Forest and has done some brilliant things. And if anyone says that recent form has been brilliant, well, then you'd be naive to say so. But don't let that detract from what he's done for this club. You can be disappointed with recent form and still think that Steve Cooper's a legend and wish him all the best. That is a fact. But at the same time, get behind the new manager, whoever it may be, and be grateful for what we've had under Cooper, and hope that Nuno can, or whoever comes in, can replicate that, replicate success at the club in a Premier League way, and take us further. And hopefully he can do that. But I suppose only time will tell. So that's my thoughts overall. It'll be interesting. It's going to be a difficult few weeks, I think. Obviously with the news, it's going to be difficult for all Forest fans. Losing Cooper's devastating. But a new manager coming in, wholesale changes to be made to the coaching staff, and obviously with a new manager, that's a big change as it is. January coming up, so we'll have his first transfer window. So big changes will be coming. It's going to be a really, really, it's going to be a very turbulent time for Forest, but go either way. I just wish whoever comes in next all the best. And again, I thank Steve Cooper for all that he's done. But I thought I'd come on here and at least give my appreciation to him, but also my views on the situation, because I didn't want to be silent and not say anything on it. But I also want you to know that my reasoning for not being so active on here is not because of me not wishing to, because it's a difficult time. It's simply because of how busy things are at the moment. And in Christmas time especially is an incredibly busy time, not just for the footballing fixture list, but also for me and my full-time and also part-time career. So it's been very busy for me personally, but I thought I'd put out this message. So there's no fancy edits, there's no fancy intros, there's no fancy thumbnail. It is just my views on what I think about this situation, what comes next, who comes next, and what to expect. So I'm wishing you all the best. Have a great Christmas. I'm looking forward to catching up with you again very soon. More podcasts, more things, and of course the topics will be slightly different, I can imagine, in some respects now. But I'm looking forward to talking more about Forest in the very near future. But that's my views on Steve Cooper's departure. I wish him all the best. I wish whoever comes in all the best. And I wish you a very Merry Christmas. And I'm looking forward to catching up with you soon. So thank you. That's my view. Come on, you Reds.